What is up guys, and welcome for another amazing build. My previous low HP build was pretty much made unusable after the damage reduction patch, but with some changes I made it work once again. In fact, I found this new low HP build once again to be a lot better than before. I prefer this tank build than any of the others at the moment just because how flexible it really is. You can play it however you like and it's very customizable, whether you want more damage or you want to make a survivability go literally through the roof. You can certainly play however you like with this. Being at 50% HP, we can still tank every single attack from the bosses except those that are meant to one-shot you, which you will still have to dodge, but other than those you can literally stand in one place and not ever die. With that, let's get right into the build. Firstly, our main class is going to be the medic. Just so with his prime perk, we can once again gain our relics back every time we heal ourselves or allies. With all the healing we have, we should never run out of relics, so using the medic as the main is important. And as for a secondary class, you can go with whatever you like. There is no bad class as a secondary. Choose whatever you like, whether it's the hunter or gunslinger or engineer. Any class will work. My recommendation would either be the engineer or the summoner, as it will just provide easy damage and a good way to replenish your relics as you heal them. You could even go around with the engineer's turret in hand and it will still work great. So what skills and class you use is completely up to you. And now for our gear, we go full leather Mark II set, with the exception of the gloves, as the labyrinth gloves have a bit more armor, so we use that instead. And now for our relic and the main source of our healing, we use the resonating heart. This will give us insane healing when we are at 50% of HP. We can heal up to 100% of our max health in the first 5 seconds, and if in that time we get overhealed, it will be doubled and given back to us over the next 20 seconds. Now, you don't have to be at max HP for the relic to count as overheal. The overhealing effect will be procced even if you are at 50% of health. The amount of healing you get is absolutely crazy. We get a very long duration of health regen every time we use a relic, so we don't need to micromanage the uses so precisely, cause even if you forget or use the relics a little late, it will still be alright as you can't be staggered so easily while using the relics because of the medic's perks. The fragments that you can use on your relic is healing effectiveness, damage reduction and armor effectiveness. Once again, I won't go over any of the weapons as it really doesn't matter. Whatever you prefer, you can go with those and the mods that you like to use as well. And now for the amulet, we have two choices. Whether you want insane healing or you want the extra bit of damage on your side. The amulets you can use are the Red Doe Sigil or the Vengeance Idol. The Red Doe Sigil will increase our relic healing by 60% since we're at 50% of HP. And the Vengeance Idol will increase our damage by 30% when we are at 50% of HP. In most situations, and even in boss fights, it's really not necessary to stack up on so much of healing. Some of the bosses just don't do that much damage, and since we'll always be at 80% of damage reduction, you can get away with not having that extra healing effectiveness and going for more damage instead. Bosses like the Night Reaver or the Ravager just don't do enough damage on their own to ever kill us, which is why you can get away with using more damage adding amulet rather than more healing. Looking at this fight with Phelan, I have stacked up on all the healing effectiveness and you can see that when he attacks that my health doesn't even flinch. I actually take damage but it just regens faster than you can see. Also, I just feel Phelan just doesn't do enough damage overall for some reason. Whereas bosses like the Nerude Guardian and his multiple lasers can definitely kill you. Which is why in those fights, we switch it with the Red Doe Sigil for the big bump in our healing, so we can survive everything in those fights as well. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're dying, then swap your amulet for the Red Doe Sigil. Otherwise, the Vengeance Idol can be the one you can have active all the time. And now for the rings, the first one you will need is the Restriction Cord. This will prevent your healing above 50% and will also give you a good 15% damage reduction. Then we have the Hardened Coil. This will give us a further 15% damage reduction while we are at 50% of HP. Now with all the rings and the armor and fragments, we sit at a constant 80% damage reduction at all times. This is the maximum damage reduction that you can get, so there's no need to go any further. So next, for our 2 rings, you can go with whatever you want. If you want more survivability, then you can go for the Ring of Crisis, which can give you a shield when you drop below 25% of health. If you want even faster healing, then the Conservation Seal will increase your relic healing effectiveness by 25% since we have 50% of health. Using the seal and the red dose sigil together is how we can reach the highest relic healing effectiveness of 100% of our max health. You can go even further, but it's not worth it to get more than that. It'll just be a waste of ring slots. Now for the last ring, I really like to use mods as I feel they are the easiest source of damage in this game, which is why I add in the Stone of Malevolence. I just love to use the Firestorm, Witchfire and the Chaos Driver mods, so I like to have this ring on all the time. If you want, you can go for any other ring of your choice. Burden of the Destroyer or anything that increases your damage will be good to use, so it's entirely up to you and how you like to play. And as for your traits, it will depend on what you decide to take in as a secondary job, but the important ones are Fortify. This will increase your armor by 50%, Vigor to increase your health, and Bark Skin for more damage reduction. Bloodbond if you do happen to take in an Engineer or the Summoner as your secondary class, and Siphoner to give us more lifesteal. And then if you have any other points, you can slot it to wherever you want. If you decide to play with mods, then add in Spirit and Kinship if you do happen to use mods that do friendly fire. And then that is it for the build everyone. I still feel the low HP setup feels more stronger and is a lot more flexible than any of the other tank builds that I have made. You can take in whatever class you like and you can still survive a lot from the bosses. Managing your relic use is still going to be essential, but other than that, I hardly had a problem defeating any of the bosses. Always keep an eye on your relic timer and make sure you try and use it as soon as it hits that 5-second mark. Even if you use it late or early, it won't matter as it will always have the max 80% damage reduction, so you'll still be able to tank most of the boss's attacks if you happen to forget to use the relic. Choose whichever class you would like as well. No need to particularly use the Engineer or the Summoner. You can use Gunslinger, Archon, whatever you like. Engineer and the Summoner are just the best options, but not necessary. Hope you guys enjoyed the build, and I always love to create low HP builds, and this one is amazing to use. I have many more builds to show you all, including one where you have insane healing without even using relics, so I can't wait to share that one with you guys. Let me know what you guys think of this build, and if you found this build helpful. I will catch you all next time.